I received a phone call this morning from California, and it was from a young man who had been in the real estate business for some time and was having some difficulty. And he had seen several of my videos on real estate, in specific how to get listings and how to use video to get listings. And he asked me if I would be willing to coach him. I had to refuse. And I explained to him that I really wasn't in the conventional real estate business anymore. And he asked why, and I basically said I didn't find it an industry that I enjoyed. I had gone into it recognizing that the baby boomers were going to have some difficulty selling their expensive homes. And so I wanted to bring technology into it, and I did a video on every home that I did. I did a walk and talk video, and I spent substantial money getting that done. Then I did online promotion of their homes. And what I found is that if I didn't sell their house in 6 months, they'd cancel the contract and say, okay, next, and move on. And so I came to realize that the wealthy people that I was representative didn't have much respect for real estate agents. Even when you did sell their home, they would enter into negotiations of you reducing their commission so that they didn't have to pay you as much. And I really don't need that in my life at this time. If you don't respect me, okay, don't hire me, but don't belittle me and try to get something that you don't deserve. So in the process, I did meet some nice people, and one of the nice people, I'll use the name Mike, indicated to me he's a lawyer, and he had 4 partners. One is a professor at a university, another is an architect, and 2 are actually home builders in a different city. And they had some land, which they had bought pre-08 in anticipation of building homes in the bonanza. And in 8, everything stopped. Everything shut down. They lost interest. The land had partially been developed and partially not, a total of about 47 lots. And he told me about it, and I told him about my feelings about real estate. And he said, well, we need somebody who's a marketer. And I've seen what you've done, and I like it, and we'd just like to turn it over to you. So my situation now is that I basically became the developer, but I don't have the capital invested in it as the developer, but I have all the rights as the developer. All they want me to do is sell the lots. So in essence, what I entered into an agreement with is I'll sell the lots, I'll build the houses, I'll get them built, and what I make on them is my business. And they basically agreed to that. So what I then did was go out and find a builder, a young builder, he's 35 years old, who built basically $750,000 homes in nice neighborhoods. And I told him what I wanted to do. These lots were adjacent to the best neighborhood in Birmingham that had the highest property taxes. And we were within, probably less than a eighth of a mile from the dividing line. And our property taxes were 1/5 of those in the expensive neighborhood. The other issue in the expensive neighborhood was that a lot of the homes were built on a rolling terrain, so they had basement garages. So that meant you had to get from the garage to your main floor. You had to walk up steps. Some of them were 2-story homes and had the master bedroom, the older ones, on the second floor. And what I realized is these baby boomers wanted to get away from the property taxes, wanted to get on one-level living, and had the money to buy, and were comfortable buying $375,000 to $450,000 homes, and they were looking for a home, in some cases on a slab, but one-level living. So we built or are building what we call story and a half. You have 3 bedrooms downstairs, including the master bath, and you have 2 bedrooms and a Jack and Jill arrangement, but open living, and our yes, open living, and then over the garage, there is space that can be used as a second bedroom. We usually plumb the second floor with a bathroom. It can be used as a guest bedroom, or it can be used as an office, or it can be used as an entertainment center. So that's what we're doing. And the way I have arranged it is that we've priced it out, that the builder and I build the house. We price it out that we make a decent profit on it, and then he and I split the profit. And then I promise to him, since I'm the only realtor that has access to all the lots, that he'll be the builder on all the lots. So I'll come away with the houses that I build somewhere in the neighborhood of $40,000 between the real estate commission and the profit that I build into them. And what I've been able to do was fill my need, and that was to get away from an industry that isn't respected, an industry where you enter into a contract, and you have no enforcement ability, and therefore the sellers and the buyers don't treat you with a lot of respect, and obviously don't believe what you're doing has any real value. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm liking it. I've built a house that we live in, but I've never built a house as a contractor. I'm learning a lot. I've learned a lot about excavating lots and making them more appealable to someone who doesn't have the vision as to how a house might appear on that very treed and undeveloped lot. I'm learning about developing roads and putting in utilities and things of that nature. So I have found that to be a very enjoyable part of real estate. Now, how do you do that? You find the niche. You find a piece of land that either, luckily like me, has been developed and hasn't been promoted, or you find a group of investors, doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, whatever, and show them that there is a demand and a shortage of these kind of homes for both retiring baby boomers and for the millennials who want to move away from the gentrified neighborhoods of downtown. And particularly now that the coronavirus has put them in a position where maybe they don't have to come downtown, and build them the kind of houses they want. Everybody would prefer a new home. And so if you can find the niche and you can find the financing, it's a very pleasurable way to be in the real estate business. So find your niche, find your investors, and put together a program and use video. I bought a drone. So the other thing I did that has really worked well is I went through my MLS and I gathered the email addresses, the names and the email addresses of all the top agents in the Birmingham area. And I built an email list. And so I promote that to those realtors, and my phone rings off the hook. You got anything up yet? Anything that I can bring people out to look at? And you are in control. You are the seller, not someone else, and you are the contractor, and you are the developer, and you are in control. That's my take on where I want to be in the real estate business, where I can control my income and I can be respected because I respect myself. The other thing I think you need to realize if you're new in the real estate industry, it is a 80% failure rate unless you have a sphere of influence that can support you. It's just like when I got into the financial planning business back in the 90s. It was, excuse my language, but it was throw as much shit against the wall and see how much sticks. In the financial planning business, the broker dealers basically encouraged you to get your parents and your grandparents and your aunts and uncles and get all their assets and sell them insurance. And then after you got done with the low-hanging fruit and failed in the business, they kept those assets. That's the same thing that the real estate industry does. It milks you of the low-hanging fruit, and then when your sphere of influence isn't wide enough to compete with the people who've been in the business 20, 30 years, you fail. So find your own way to succeed in the business. Learn the business. I would encourage you to learn the demographic world. Read this book, The Accidental Superpower. It speaks very strongly about demographics, and you need to understand demographics if you're in the real estate business. You'll find a link to this down below. So for those of you who watch my channel for investing, I still have an allegiance to the real estate agents, and that's why I did this. Thank you.